Hello and welcome. My name is Jodi Scholes. I am your instructor for the MBLEx review course. Yay, we're here. Look, let me make sure we're in the view that you can see everybody. Yeah, how fun is this? You can see everybody. And so today we are talking about alternative bodywork modalities. So if you take a look at the Federation of State Massage Therapy Board's content outline, it's a lot of words just to say there is a content outline that tells you exactly the categories of topics that you'll need to study. And one of those categories that you might not have gotten in massage school is this category of alternative bodywork modalities. And this is stuff that's outside massage. Some of it we're allowed to do, others we're not. But it has to do with what's available. And we need to be aware of these other bodywork modalities that your clients may be getting, and how it impacts the massage session. And we know about things like acupuncture and chiropractic care, and alternate modalities that we can refer our clients to. But I'm going to tell you a few things about bodywork today. So our class is going to go down in 3 rounds. First, we're going to talk a little bit about test-taking strategies. In round 2, second part, we're going to go through our bodywork modalities. And then in part 3, today, rather than dissect some questions, we're going to answer in your own words. So, as we're getting started with class, if you're not sure where the chat button is, I'd like you to go ahead and see if you can locate it on your device. So if you could just go, let's see, let's put a little love in the chat. So just what should have popped up on your screen right there is a chat. And if you are good with the chat, if you know where the chat is, put love in the chat. We're going to throw some love. So here's a funny habit I have. And it's because I like to create the love vibration, right? So I play tennis, and you say the score before you serve, right? So anybody play tennis out there? Yeah. So you're supposed to say, so at the very, very start of the game, the score is 0-0. But in tennis, it's fancy. They say love, love, right? 0-0. So I say love, love, lots of love. So that, it kind of tells my opponents, hey, hey, love, love, lots of love. And I just like to establish that vibration when we can. So that's why we're putting love in the chat right now. So to open our class, I would like to give you the opportunity to get grounded in your space. It's been a full start to the morning for some of you. For others, it's been quiet and calm. And maybe it's even quiet and calm where you are right now. But let's go ahead and just feel our feet underneath us, okay? Go ahead, wiggle your toes. Wiggle your toes. If you're in the car, don't wiggle your toes. Well, I guess you could, but be careful. And take a breath in. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Some of us deal with test-taking anxiety. Some of us deal with a lot of stress in our lives right now. And I'd like you to imagine a box, a really pretty box, kind of like we see at Christmas time, a box with a lid. Maybe you want to imagine a hat box, but it's a colorful box and it has a lid. And I'd like you to open the lid of the box. And I'd like you to take your anxiety and your stress and any activities of the day and go ahead and put those activities, put that stress, put that anxiety, in the box. And maybe it's rowdy. Maybe you got rowdy kids. I'd like you to put that energy in the box. And after you've put as much in that box that you'd like to put in the box, I'd like you to take the lid and put it on top of the box. And I'd like you to just set the box aside for now. In fact, I'd like you to put that box outside of the room, outside of your house, on your front doorstep. And it's like just to stay out of our way for now. And now, wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. We're going to take 3 breaths. I'm going to go in through our nose and out through our mouth. The power of the breath is amazing. It is your lifeline during your exam. When things get a little crazy, if you're feeling any certain kind of way during your exam, your lifeline is the breath. Let's practice that breath 3 times. Let's start with in through the nose and out through the mouth. Make a noise. In through the nose. Blow out some birthday candles. In through the nose. And let's make an ah. Ah. Do that as many times as you want during this class. As we go through these alternative bodywork modalities, you may feel like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of that. Breathe in that cool, fresh air and breathe out. You got this. You got this. This has been a little grounding exercise. I'd like you to check in with your body and see how you feel. Check in with your body, see how it feels. Do you feel more present? I'll tell you, one of the invitations I'll make to you is that you can just leave that box with the lid on it outside the door. It's a good place for it. Let's move into some learning. Before we open the learning, I want to remind you the purpose of the exercise. You can always come back to your breath. You can always pause and just take a breath. This is especially a great tool during your exam, during your practice exams. It may feel overwhelming. Pay attention to your own energy while you're taking the practice exams. And practice coming back to your breath. All right, let's do some learning. Here we are. Brand new class for everybody. Welcome to Alternative Bodywork Modalities. Here are the alternative bodywork modalities that it is good to be familiar with. Since we just learned a little exercise about the breath, these next 3 slides, you might get to use that tool. Let's take a look at the different alternative bodywork modalities. They could be called alternative or alternate. Please take a look here, alternate. We're shying away from the word alternative and using complementary as far as massage therapy. However, let's take a look at our alternate or complementary bodywork modalities. I will put a list of these modalities. I will post it on Patreon. You don't have to write them all down, but if you want to, you can. Acupressure, the Alexander technique, applied kinesiology, aromatherapy, Bach flower remedies, Bonnie Pruden's myotherapy, chair massage, craniosacral therapy, deep tissue massage, equine massage, Esalen massage. You'll need to be familiar at least with the generalities of Feldenkrais method, gua sha, hot stone, infant massage, Iridology, lomi lomi, some manual lymphatic drainage or manual lymph drainage, liposage, medical massage, muscle energy technique, myofascial release, myomassology, musculoskeletal alignment technique, sometimes called also neuromuscular therapy, oncology massage, polarity therapy, prenatal massage. You'll want to be familiar with reflexology, Reiki, Rolfing, Shiatsu, somatic emotional release, sports massage, Swedish massage, Thai massage, Traeger, or called the Traeger approach, trigger point therapy, visceral manipulation, and Watsu. You know all those, right? All right, we're going to go through quite a few of those today. And like I said, I'll be putting this list up in the Patreon account so that you can follow up on digging down into any of these topics that were completely new for you. I've picked out quite a few so we can review them today. Let's get started. The Alexander, we're going to go in alphabetical order and we'll get through what we can get through today. So the Alexander technique, the founder is Jodi Alexander. Jodi Alexander worked hand in hand with a woman named Ida Rolf. And you may have heard of Ida Rolf. She became quite famous for her technique of Rolfing. The Alexander technique is a little bit different. You see, Ida and Jodi, Jodi Alexander, had a little bit of an argument. They were all, Jodi Alexander loved Rolfing, but she believed movement was really the key to changing your fascial restrictions. So the Alexander technique and Rolfing both address the fascia in your body. Rolfing tears through fascia, typically requires 10 sessions. The Alexander technique approaches the body, the fascia, a little bit differently. And Jodi Alexander wanted to get the fascia unstuck through movement. She loved dance. And so An Alexander technique teacher will observe you and your movements. So if someone goes for an Alexander technique session, their movement is going to be observed. And then they'll use their hands-on approach to reestablish the connection of proper movement in your nervous system. So the key word for Alexander technique is movement. It's done fully clothed, compared to Rolfing, which typically the practitioner will use their elbow, forearm, or knuckles to tear the fascia, to mobilize, to move, to use very, very deep pressure to mobilize the fascia. Anyone who's been Rolfed will tell you it's probably the most pain they've ever been in their life, other than childbirth. And someone will say it's even worse. Again, Rolfing typically goes in 10 sessions, whereas the Alexander technique is more organic with how many sessions are needed. They decide that the sessions, once the pain is gone and the movement is restored, then it's maintenance for sessions. So that's the Alexander technique compared to Rolfing. Applied kinesiology. So applied kinesiology can be done on its own. My experience has been that a lot of chiropractors incorporate applied kinesiology into their session. The key term for applied kinesiology is muscle testing. So have you ever seen it when a chiropractor will say, okay, hold strong, and then they push down. Hold strong, push down. And it might be different side to side. So applied kinesiology is just a system of muscle testing. It evaluates different aspects of your health with this muscle testing. They can incorporate, for example, they may put a crystal in your hand. They may put a nutrient, a vitamin in your hand, and then go ahead and muscle test again. Yeah. So it puts a substance into your field and then sees if that substance strengthens you or weakens you. That's applied kinesiology. Have you ever heard of Bach flower remedies? My goodness, it has been a long time since I even thought about Bach flower remedies. Bach flower remedies distills the essence of flowers. It's not unlike aromatherapy. So it's a complementary treatment. Again, we see here the word complementary. And typically, Bach flower remedies is treating the emotions. Yeah, that is really it is part of homeopathy. Homeopathy is simply a belief that the body can cure itself through natural substances. Doctors of natural medicine are sometimes called homeopaths. So homeopathy has to do with natural healing of the body. And it was founded by Edward Bach, early 1900s. This stuff is like, it's old. It's been around for a long time. And it was formed in the 1900s because there wasn't a ton of medicine. And so Bach flower remedies were really used to treat the emotions. And it's lovely. They're still available today. And they're made from the extracts of wildflowers, different plants. Yeah, so that's Bach flower remedies. The Bonnie Pruden myotherapy. Okay, may seem like we're bouncing around here, but we're going in alphabetical order to cover our bases. So this is Bonnie Pruden's book, like somewhat infamous. Bonnie Pruden was one of the early mappers, person who developed a map of trigger point therapy. Take a look here. This is considered body Pruden. The key word here is trigger points. And she's like the OG of trigger point therapy. So what is the benefit? Oh, so here's a definition right out of the dictionary. So she uses these particular methods to relax muscle spasm, but she diffuses what we all are still trying to define, trigger points. But she uses a traditional approach to trigger point therapy. In fact, much of the trigger point work that you're doing right now could be in alignment with Bonnie Pruden's myotherapy. But key word for Bonnie Pruden, trigger point therapy. And of course, her name. The Feldenkrais method. This is such a traditional look at a Feldenkrais class. So a guy named Moshe Feldenkrais, developed a system of exercises to measure, evaluate, and improve range of motion. This is a classic. So when you put these, are your hands actually touching? Can you touch? Can you move one hand more easily than the other? Feldenkrais is looking to improve range of motion. It is looking to go through a system of exercises, fully clothed, to improve joint range of motion, to improve the flexibility, to improve coordination. In fact, if you've ever taken a Pilates class, you may have been asked to put your arm out and to make a circle. Make a circle. Go ahead, try it right now. Make a circle. Can you make a circle? Or does it more look like a football? Yeah. Make a bigger circle. Does it stay round? In Pilates, they'll then invite you to lay on your back and make a circle with your toe. First time I tried to do that, I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. It was like I couldn't. I could make a circular motion, but it was pretty wobbly, and there were parts that were kind of clunky. Try it on your other arm. Are there any parts that are? Oh yeah. Are there any parts that are clunky? Like, okay, it gets smoother when you do it. That is an example of what Feldenkrais is trying to reestablish, that smooth movement. Pilates was originally for dancers. And Pilates is also a style of neuromuscular re-education. Feldenkrais, let's stick with Feldenkrais though. So the Feldenkrais method looks to identify those clunky patterns in your movement, and through a specific series of different exercises, movements, subtle movements, improve your range of motion, flexibility, and coordination. So, and looks to make you graceful again, if not efficient in your movements. Lovely. It's a lovely method, actually. Moshe Feldenkrais is the fellow who originated this method. Gua sha. Have you guys heard of gua sha? Yeah? This is something that you are invited to incorporate at times into your practice with a little bit of training. What you're seeing here are gua sha tools. Sometimes you'll see them made out of metal as well, but traditional gua sha tools are made out of stone or porcelain. And there's different things you can use. You can even see a spoon or a lid there. But gua sha is a Chinese method to actually take those tools and use them on the skin. So say, for example, we see gua sha sometimes in facials, But for your practice, imagine like the front of the leg, like tibialis anterior. A lovely place to use a gua sha tool. Yeah. And you can stroke that. Should have had my show and tell ready. But that tradition you can see here back. So a tool like this, to use that on the tibialis anterior. And the intention, the actual intention of gua sha is to create this redness in the skin, sometimes even red dots. Um, and it's called that, which I did not know before I was preparing these slides. I'm going to call that pétaché. I might be mispronouncing that, but if you see that word, it is on the MBLEx. It is associated with the gua sha tools. And so often you'll hear people talk about this, and you'll see it in acupuncture, you'll see it sometimes with massage, but it's an alternative bodywork modality. And typically gua sha is incorporated into with something else. So with massage, with aromatherapy, with acupuncture. Ooh, iridology. Have you heard of iridology? It's really interesting. I don't know if it'll come up for you on your MBLEx, but it might. It's good to know at least what it is. So here is a chart from Iridology. And this is the iris of the eye. You see how it has these little dark lines? Iridologists, that's the name of a person who performs iridology, an iridologist, will look at where these dark lines appear in the iris and will chart it back to the chart. So you can see here we're in section, we're in section 50 to 55. And so we're looking, the iridologist would ask, do you have any pain in your mastoid, ear, neck, or shoulder based on those dark lines? Looks like we could also move into yeah, sorry, I can't quite make that out. But the point is, you don't need to know what's on the chart. You don't need to be able to diagnose an iris, but you do need to know what iridology is. And technically, it's the study of the patterns of the iris, and that's the colored part of your eye. And this is iridology. Lomi lomi. All right, what is lomi lomi? See. Final slide before we do a few questions. You hanging in there with me? All right. Reflexology. Yes. All right. Ready to take a look at a few questions? Let's go back to that breath for a minute, shall we? Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a different technique today. I'm going to have you in the chat in your own words, in usually just one word. But before we get into that, let's just clear our minds for a second. It's a lot of terms, right? All right, if you can give me about 10 more minutes, we'll be wrapping up. Promised. Let's just take a breath. Exhale it out. That's why we record these videos, because that way you can come back and watch it again. And you're going to have your own list, so you can go back through these. Take one more breath, and then we're going to go answer some questions. Breath in and out. Please give me in the chat a keyword for iridology, or if you can type one keyword if you're on your tablet or phone, or if you're on a PC and it's comfortable, what is iridology? Excellent. Good. Excellent. I'll give you about another 10 seconds to put your answer in the chat if you would like to. Excellent. And I'm going to go ahead and use Billy Kay's uh, explanation. It is and her, his. Sorry, Billy Kay. I'm gonna guess her. Sorry, no pronouns, right? No pronouns. Billy Kay. They said good, and Winnie said study of the eyes. Yes, good. Yes. Let me go back up here. Wow, you guys got it. Good. So Roxanne, yes. Anastasia, yes. Ensley got it. Yep. Melissa, yes. Rose. So iridology, right? Study of the iris of the eye, IRI, iridology. Yes, Rose, good. Mayor, great. Marina, yes. Billy Kay, great. Love it. Serenity's phone, yes. Lana, you got it. Brenda, you got it. Tiffany got it. Good. Good. Ruby, yes. Aite, yes. Awesome. Good, Nucha, good. And Andre, got it. Excellent. Yes, it is the study of the eyes. Ready for your next question? Yay! We're at the end. Woo-hoo! So great job, you guys. Oh my goodness. There is a lot. But you did an amazing job in taking that in. These terms will be posted again in full so that you can walk through them. And what I'd like you to do is when you walk through these terms, I'd like you to use in your own words what they mean. Because if you will see alternative bodywork modalities on the test. Sorry, they say the content outline tells you right under the bullet points for pathology. You got to know some of these. You don't have to know all of them, but you do have to know some of them. And I've highlighted the ones that could show up on your MBLEx. So for now, I'm going to sign off on our recording for today, saying again, my name is Jodi Scholes. I am your instructor for the MBLEx review class. And you know what? I'm right here by your side till you pass. Because the world needs more good massage therapists. The world needs more great massage therapists. And you're it. You're it. So I'm going to do my part and be right here by your side to celebrate with you when you pass. So signing off for today, and I'm sure we'll see you again real soon.